Alright, hello guys, and welcome to our official March 2020 forecast. I'm very excited to present this forecast to you guys because I've had a lot of people asking about it, so I'm very excited to be doing this for y'all. Now, before I get started with this video though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. Let's get right into things. First things first, we're going to be taking a look at that very exciting temperature forecast. Now, a lot of you in the southeast have been wondering about when the cold is going to arrive, and lately, at the end of February here, it actually has been arriving quite often, and I actually expect that to continue well into March. And as you can see here on our first layer, we're going to have a slightly below average temperature region from Texas up through some of those Great Plains like Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, and then all the way eastward through Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, into the southeast states like Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, Mid-Atlantic, up through Maryland and Delaware and all them, and then all the way up into New England and upstate New York as well. So a lot of areas experiencing slightly below average temperatures. And now what you need to know about this is that if you're in this region, you can expect to probably notice that it's going to be below average, but you might be so slightly below average that it's hardly even noticeable, but you definitely will be on paper. Now, this is certainly what I'm expecting as far as the region for below average temperatures. Now, we even have a second shade here of below average temperatures, and this is going to be for Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and through Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio, and through West Virginia, as well as Virginia. So a lot of areas are going to be experiencing these moderately below average temperatures, and this is going to be an area where it's a little bit more confident that we will definitely be seeing some below average temperatures here within those medium blue regions. Now we're about to start talking about who could see some above average temperatures, which is going to be very exciting to take a look at here. Alright, so first layer here is going to be for California, Oregon, Idaho, Nevada, Utah, and Arizona. We are expecting at least slightly above average temperatures for these regions. Again, might not be too noticeable, might just be so ever so slightly above normal, but on paper you definitely will be above average temperatures within that southwestern region once we're done with the month of March. Now let's add that second layer here of above normal temperatures, and this is going to be where it's going to be a lot more moderately above average and a lot more consistently above average there for California and through portions of Nevada as well. So you can see the trend. Definitely southwest is above average, southeast is below average, northeast maybe a little bit below average. But really, the northern United States seems a lot closer to average here than the southern United States will seem. And I think we've had definitely some months where the forecast has been pretty much the opposite of that, where the north seems to be really different and then the south seems pretty average. But this month, it's definitely looking like we'll have a lot of differentials from normal here in the southern United States. Now, we're about to get started with that precipitation forecast, and it's going to be very exciting and very telling as well. We're going to have multiple regions of above and below average precipitation. All right, first things first, we're going to be dealing with a below average precipitation region here from Washington, Oregon, in through northern California. And the interesting thing about this is we've been dealing with some pretty dry conditions here for months. For months and months, we've had the forecast as below average precipitation for these regions. I think it's maybe been since November or maybe even December that we've had, or since we've had above average precipitation for these regions. You have to remember, these people expect to see a lot of precipitation up there in the Pacific Northwest. They get a ton of precipitation, especially this time of year. And so to exceed below average precipitation, this does not mean they won't get a lot. They probably will still get a lot. It's just going to be below their actual average, which happens to be very, very high. It's actually a rainforest up there. So yes, they are going to be experiencing below average precipitation, but really it's not going to be little amount of precipitation. It's going to be a lot. We also have another below average precipitation region up here for the Midwest and the Great Lakes regions, as well as some of the interior northeastern United States. So Minnesota through some of the Great Lakes states, down through portions of Missouri, Kentucky, West Virginia, as well as Ohio, in through Pennsylvania and New York, at least western and upstate New York as well. All of these areas are going to be dealing with some slightly below normal precipitation. Again, in this first shade, might not even be too noticeable, but definitely on paper you will be below average as far as precipitation is concerned. Now, we even have a second layer here of below average precipitation, and that's going to be mostly for the Great Lakes here. So Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio all going to be experiencing a pretty moderate amount of below average precipitation. I expect most of the storm systems to move around you, so we are going to be dealing with some pretty dry conditions at times here for the Great Lakes, but this area tends to actually surprise when it comes to precipitation. Sometimes you can really think it's going to be dry, and then all of a sudden they just get hammered with these really large storms. So obviously it's very tough to forecast this region as far as their precipitation, but I am definitely seeing the signs that we will not have a very common storm track through these regions. Now we're about to start talking about where we could see some above average precipitation, which is going to be very exciting to take a look at because this is going to tell us where we could see some snow possibly. Now I had to mention snow because even though March isn't really considered a meteorological winter month, we don't consider it to be winter anymore in meteorology, but it really does tend to have some winter weather involved with it, especially up here for our first region of above normal temperatures, above normal precipitation, and that's going to include the Rockies and then into some of the northern plains and some of the central plains as well. So North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Colorado, Wyoming, and up through Montana, all of these regions going to be experiencing some slightly above normal precipitation. And again, first layer on paper, definitely going to be above average, but it might not feel like it at times, but some areas it might. We actually have a second area of above average precipitation as well here for Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and through Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and maybe even a bit of Southern Virginia there as well. Looks very, very similar to our current storm we're actually dealing with right now. And then down through Florida as well, we're all going to be dealing with some slightly above normal precipitation there. And we even have a second shade here for portions of Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, and Florida as well. And this is just going to be an area where it's going to be, again, more moderately above average and a higher confidence that we will be above average as well. So those two things coupled together there for this precipitation forecast in this second shade of above normal precipitation. Now that might come together and make some southern sliders, but I don't know how potent that cold actually will be that I showed in the temperature forecast. I don't know if it'll be cold enough for snow in the southern regions. It feels like that's mostly a January, February type thing. It's always possible, but I think we're going to be wrapping up the chance for southeast snowstorms as we head into March. Now we're about to get started with our overall forecast, which is going to tell the whole story and bring this forecast together very, very nicely. All right, so we're going to go from west to east. I like to talk about each of these regions individually here for you guys so I can kind of elaborate on what I mean. I really love the colors I get to put on the canvas here with these. I went with kind of pastels in this one, as you can see. I really like the way it turned out. Anyway, for the west, or the northwest specifically, more dry than normal for these regions: California, Oregon, Washington. Again, you saw that on the precipitation forecast. We're expecting a little bit less precipitation than what's normal, but not necessarily going to be completely dry. Warmer than normal for the surrounding regions to your east and south. There, we're going to be dealing with some warmer than normal conditions and some above average temperatures for all of these orange regions. It's going to lead to, again, on paper at least, some above normal temperatures. Now, to your east there, or southeast, we have a near normal region there in the gray. That's going to be for the Four Corner states there. I'm expecting things to feel quite normal for a March there in the Four Corner states, so not much differentials from what is normally expected. Now, up to your north, we have that white region. That's going to be normal snowfall. I just wanted to point that out that we could have some normal March snowfall. This is an area that specifically sees snowfall in March. Even other regions in the United States, they can see snowfall in March, but it's not, as common as January and February. The Rockies, their winter is still going on as we head into March, so normal to above normal snowfall, I would say, for this white region. Now, to your east, we're going to be dealing with some above normal precipitation there for that kind of turquoise color, and that's going to also couple in with that white region and kind of be underneath it or above it and bring above normal precipitation for that white region as well. Going to be dealing with maybe some above normal snowfall. Now, to your east, we're going to be dealing with some frigid and dry conditions. You didn't see any below normal temperatures, but it doesn't need to be below normal for these regions to be frigid, and it is going to be dry because you saw that on the precipitation forecast. Now, to your south, below average temperatures and more precipitation, so basically wet and cold for these regions there in the south central and southeastern United States. Again, a slim chance that we could see some southern slider type storms from this, but I'm really not thinking it's likely with the average temperatures going up and up and up as we head, day by day at this point. It's looking less and less likely for a southeast snowstorm at this point. And then last but not least, for the northeastern United States and the mid-Atlantic, we have a flip-flop pattern. I think definitely cold at times, but warm at times as well. I think we will see some warm-ups, cooldowns, at least for the first half of March. That's looking very, very likely. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends and family, and I'll see you guys in the next video.